Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Firstly, I would like to show my appreciation to everyone here that came. May Allah bless you and grant you. Um, and also, I would like to thank the organizers of this event, the Social Intifada and Brother Khalid. Jazakallah khairan. I would like today to speak about the Gaza pre-war conditions and currently what is the situation in Gaza and after-war conditions. So when we talk about the situation or the struggle in Gaza, probably it's very important to speak about the history of the struggle in Gaza. It's very important because our generation, which is the 90s generations and the 2000 generations, have lived and grown up in the blockade time and in the struggles time, which has started in 2007. We have witnessed it all, from the cut of products, fuel, electricity, and the restrictions on the travels and bank transfers, to the bombs and wars and mass destructions on Gaza Strip. And it's important also to mention that every family in Gaza has lost at least one person of the family during the previous wars or even this war that is ongoing currently. And it's also important to mention that Gaza Strip is a very small strip. It's a very small city. It's 360 square kilometers. It's 45 kilometers from south to north, 15 kilometers from east to west, which is a very small trip, and it's a home for 2.3 million people. So if you go, you can take a drive from north to from north to south, or the other way in 50 minutes you can reach. And from east to west you can take it 10 minutes. It's like going from Johannesburg to Pretoria. It's a very small city. And also, if we're talking about the struggle, the real struggle did not start on October the 7th. It started way longer before that. It started from 75 years, but the struggle was in levels and wasn't the same as when the blockade started in 2007. Following the blockade in 2007 was many wars: 2008 war, 2012, 14, then 2021, then now currently the 2023 war, which is the most destructive war ever. And we're going to talk about it later. The blockade in 2007 has led to many results on the humanitarian and on the economic situation. And also the continuous wars since then also played a role in the economic situation and on the humanitarian situation, which I'm going to mention now. First, the unemployment rate in Gaza Strip. Recently, when I went to Gaza, I was in August and September, I went to Gaza Strip. I visited the family, and it was nice to see the family and see the old friends and speak, go with them, see the old friends. But it was also, after 1 week or two, you start realizing what is happening and you want to figure out, is the situation in Gaza improved since I left, or is it the same, or it's even only getting worse? So you start looking around you, and I looked. A group of 10 friends that I have, only 2 people works, and 8 does not have any job to do. which is very sad. And it's not because they don't want to work, it's just there is no work to do. And it's also said that these people are highly qualified. I'm talking about the age of 27 to 31. These are the group of friends that I'm talking about. All of them are qualified. 2 of them have master's degrees, but they can't find a job to do, unfortunately. And that actually confirms the stats that was out recently, that the unemployment rate in Gaza Strip is 75%. It makes it accurate. The second result also of the blockade is that 95% of water in Gaza is undrinkable. And you don't even have to taste the water, you just wash your face and you will feel that the water is salty, it's not clean. Thirdly, the travel restrictions. For example, I am from Gaza Strip, I am Palestinian, but I have never been to any city but Gaza in Palestine. I've never been to any city. I'm Palestinian. I've never been to Al-Aqsa. I never seen Jerusalem, Al-Quds, and I dream to go to it one day, inshallah. And also I remember in 2007, 2008, there's about 3 years that nobody, the blockade, the siege was so strict that nobody could leave Gaza at all, and nobody was allowed also to get in. So I have family overseas that could not come for 3 years to Gaza Strip. It's because they can't go, they are not allowed to go to Gaza, basically, simply like that. Also, one of the results of the blockade and the continuous wars is that from previous wars, there is lots of houses and homes that been destroyed. 30% of these families that lost their houses in previous wars never rebuilt their houses, and 70 others could have the support and rebuild their houses again. But 30% could not rebuild their houses from previous wars, and I'm talking about 2014 wars, 2012, 28. And some of them had to work and gain their money again and rebuild their houses, and some could not build any house. And they're still living by their relatives. The other result of the blockade, which is actually very hard, is the lack of the medical supplies. I want to give an example about it. My late father passed away in 2021 with cancer. And one of the reasons, or one of the things that played a role in his collapse, in his health collapse, is that there was no enough medical supplies in Gaza. There was no chemotherapy. And he had to wait on the borders to leave for 2 months. And waiting 2 months for a cancer patient is very bad, because you have to be quick taking chemotherapy every week. And when he left, it was too late to take treatment, and unfortunately he passed away. May Allah forgive him, and may Allah forgive all his sins and grant him the highest level of Jannah, inshallah. Talking about the ongoing war in Gaza, turning the attention on the current situation since October the 7th, the situation in Gaza has grown even more dire. To give you a better perspective, until now we have lost over than 20,000 martyrs. Nearly 10,000 of them are children, 4,500 are women, 1,000 are elderly people, and more than 60,000 people are injured with different levels. When we say numbers, it's actually very hard to say. It's not right to look at them as numbers. There are people that had lives and goals and ambitions that they wanted to achieve, but unfortunately, they couldn't. And it's also, we also saw the videos on social media of the grandfather of Reem, who was saying, she was the soul of my soul. And we also saw the two kids that was carried out from under the rubble. And they were saying, they were carried out and they were put on an ambulance chair, and they were saying to the paramedics that, thank you so much, we love you. It seems like these two kids never expected anyone to come and rescue them. That's why they were saying that from their reaction. And also we saw the girl that was under the rubble, and there was the people that came to rescue her. She was listening to them and she was saying, go rescue my family members. I'm okay, I have space. And she was indicating somewhere next to her. But when they rescued her, she was crying. She was saying that, why you rescued me? You should have rescued my family first. But she didn't know that her family was already dead. They were already martyrs. The result and the scene in Gaza is way worse than we have ever imagined. It's the most destructive war that ever happened. It's worse than the Nakba in 1948. It's definitely the most destructive war. 270 houses got bombed, destroyed or damaged, leaving countless families with no homes. More than 1.7 million people are displaced in schools, hospitals, in streets and mosques. And the most shocking and the most sad part that this war has led to is the essential necessities of life that is not available. Food, water, electricity, network, connectivity have become luxuries, as these essential necessities are in critically short supplies. And I'm going to mention one story for you that I actually could see myself, or like have a small perspective, a small feeling about it, is that we have a group on WhatsApp. It's our families, the uncles and aunties and the grandson, the granddaughters, and they speak and that. And it's good, yeah, that we still have that connection with them. Sometimes it's cut, sometimes it's on. But one of my cousins could get hold of one box of juice. And he gave it to one of my aunties and her daughters. The reaction that my auntie gave my cousin, the appreciation that she wrote to him on that group, she was writing for him a big letter of appreciation of this gift. She was calling it a gift that is worth more than gold in this critical time. It's only a box of juice that we take for granted sometimes. We don't really appreciate, but these people now, our people, my people, really look at it as a very value gift. This is a short, probably, summary of what is happening in Gaza. The imagination is way probably more worse than that. When you experience it, it's definitely different when you say it. But what can we actually do? We have lost families and we have lost friends. We have lost money. We have lost everything basically, but we haven't lost hope. And we haven't lost our iman in the power of Allah. As our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, The believer is to the believer is like a solid building, one part supporting the other. Our unity in this challenging times is the strength, and our actions can make a difference. Hopefully, inshallah, soon this war ends, and hopefully we can speak to the families while they are in peace. And what can we do is Wings of Mercy, currently Wings of Mercy Foundation, is been sponsoring orphans and families since 2013. We've been doing this program, and it's actually proved its effectivity, that it's the most effective way of helping the Palestinians to stand on their feet. And it's a message for them to say that we are standing with you. Currently, some Wings of Mercy Foundation is gathering information about the families that got affected firsthand by this war, and the families that lost their breadwinners, and the ones that lost their houses, that will go home to no house. We're gathering information about them, and inshallah we're going to sponsor them at least for 1 year or two, so they can stand on their feet again. But before I finish, I would like to share one story with you that I have experienced myself in one of the previous wars. Every one of us has got a story that he keeps for himself for different reasons. Some stories can be told and some is difficult to be told. But I'm going to share one story with you that I think it can be told. I was a kid in school in 2008. I was going to school with my friend. He's my second cousin and he's also my best friend. His name is Mohammed. We were going to school in a normal day, very normal day. We reached the school and we had some classes. We sit, and I remember we had English class at that time at 2 p.m. when the occupations airstrikes started bombing everywhere in Gaza at one time. And at that particular time, it led to 500 martyrs at that particular moment. And I remember the sound of the bombs was so close that the teacher laid on the ground. And he said loudly, "Lay on the ground." He said to the student, "Lay on the ground," loudly 2 times. The student laid on the ground. And we're still waiting till the bombs gets quiet. After 5 minutes of continuous bombs, it stopped. Then the teacher said, "Go out and take that route. It's safe." We took that route. We listened to the teacher. We're still kids. We believed. So we went. We took the route. On our way home, we passed by the place where they were bombing. And we could see the ambulance rescuing some people and taking people from under the rubbles. And the security man was shouting at us. He shouted at us saying, "Leave. Go ahead. Leave. Go home. You don't want to see that." We were kids. I think he meant that we shouldn't see these scenes, but we still saw it. We carried on home, me and my friend Mohammed, and we reached home. My mother and his mother were still waiting for us outside in the street, because they knew that the bombs were so close to school. I remember my mother was very happy to see us safe, and his mother was also happy to see us safe. While she still didn't know that her other son was one of the 500 martyrs in that bomb. She still did not know. After a while, after half an hour, 1 hour, she heard the news. She was crying so bad, and even after a while, of this incident. But there's one part that I didn't mention is that her other son that was a martyr, he was engaged and he was about to get married next week. And she was very sad and crying so bad for losing her son, even after years of this war. When recently I went to Gaza, suddenly we were speaking about the subject, and his name was mentioned, and she started crying so bad. May Allah forgive him, and may Allah forgive all the martyrs, and may Allah bless our efforts and ease the suffering of those in Gaza, and protect our families and grant us victory. Ameen. Jazakum Allah khairan.